And it's not every day on the Andrew Burnett show you get to spend with someone so talented like Tre Corley. Man, I sit there on Huckabee and I am amazed at your musical talent.
Well, thank you very much, sir. I very much enjoy working that show a lot. Governor Huckabee is a true gentleman. He's a great person to work with.
Well, to start the conversation off, we seen that just a couple of weeks ago, was it last week, that Meatloaf passed away, and you
Yes,
had
sir.
the honor to be able to work with him. So tell us a little bit about that.
Man, that's going to go down in history for me as one of the greatest moments I think I've ever had. He was a really great person. He was a genuine great person. He when he came in, we got to work for a whole day together before the show. Typically, we do a rehearsal the day of, but we were going to do like a little mini concert, and he hadn't performed in like 6 or 7 years. So it was not only humbling and fun and cool, but it was a little bit of work because I think he had some nerves about he wanted it to be right, and he hadn't performed. And man, I'm going to tell you, when we started the first song in the show, and we started doing it in the audience, dude, the energy was crazy. I mean, he really brought it. It was very, very cool. And his team of musicians, Paul Crook and Randy Flowers and Caleb Johnson was there. Kai was there. There was, and then our team put on top of that. I think there was, man, was there like 14 of us on stage? It was a lot of people. It was a big night.
Wow. So what's one thing that you'll never forget about the performance?
Uh, Man, there's actually a lot. Getting to be able to play some stuff that was like, Trey taking on the piano here. I got a few spots on one of the tunes that was kind of cool. Me and Alton, the organ player, went back and forth on one of them. That's going to go down and cool. But before the interview, which I put on our website and put on different places, but he gave a massive shout out to the band and to our organ player, talking about some of the greatest organ players in the world is what he used. He said in the history of mankind, he put our organ player down, and also in the rehearsal, we had a guitar for him. We had it was a Taylor. It was a really nice guitar that we had for him to play, and because he asked for an acoustic. And the night of, he said, man, he says, I have to have a black acoustic. I can't do this wood acoustic. So I literally got on Marketplace. I went to Sam Ash. I went trying to find a black one like he was talking about. Could not find one. I could have one shipped, but I needed one that morning. So Friday morning, I found a guy on Marketplace that had a Gibson acoustic guitar, which is what Meatloaf played that night. He signed it at the end of the night, and I kept it, and I have it in my studio, me and my brother's studio. I have it hanging in my office. To my knowledge, that was our last performance. So that would have been the last guitar that he performed with too. So that's hanging in my office, which is, I mean, I don't think I'll ever forgive. Nobody will take that off my hands. Let me put it that way. It's going to be mine forever.
So I'm sure there's been many memorable musical guests on Huckabee that will go down forever for you. But
Absolutely.
what were some that really just stick out to you that you've really had the opportunity to play
Well,
with?
uh, Bobby Caldwell will be one of my favorites. Old school R&B. But one that always will be very special to me. There's a couple of them, and it's actually in the Christian world. Michael W. Smith will be one of my favorites, just because I grew up learning his music and arranging. And I really, I never would have thought in a million years I'd get to be on the same stage with him. And the last time he came on, we were working a song that was about his father. And when we got done with the rehearsal, Michael W. Smith walks over to the piano and says, I really like what you did with the song and the way you did it. He said, I'd like you to produce it. And I go, what? Like, oh, okay. So the next thing I know, I was getting the opportunity to work with, to me, one of the greatest in our field. Not only a great man, but man, to me, he's a legend. I mean, it's very cool. And Michael Omardian also was those. There's several that were truly meant a lot to me. Michael Omardian, I would learn his arrangements, and I got to put together a medley of his songs in our show. I mean, man, he played with Steely Dan. He played with he did the Michael Bolton record. Dear Lord, so many. Christopher Cross, Peter Cetera. I mean, the list goes on. Chicago. I mean, how many records he produced, played on, arranged. So those are kind of go down with something I'll never forget. I still pinch. I'm like, yeah, that actually happened. It's pretty cool.
Wow. So, you was mentioning yours in your brother's studio, and it's amazing to me because I was sitting here last week, I believe it was, listening to some of the live projects that y'all did there at the Oak Tree Studio, and
Yeah.
man, you don't get that real feel no more, like those live projects.
Well, man, thank you. I actually have a live project too coming out from our band, the Music City Connection, because I agree with you. There's something about the energy of when it goes down live. I love studio records. I produce records. I love doing it. But there's something about the live feeling, the vocalists when they sing, and the players when there's a solo. I don't know, man. Something comes out of them that's just the energy level is so high. So I agree with you. I think that it's a really cool thing. And we have been fortunate to have a lot of live projects here in our studio. We did a little thing called Live at Oak Tree that was really cool, had a lot of artists coming in. And now we've kind of revamped that with some new things, got some new records coming out this year.
Anything we should look forward to? Can you drop any
Oh
hints yet?
yeah, we do. I actually have a couple of things besides the records that we have coming out with the Music City Connections, which actually you're the first person I'm telling this to because we just finalized things this week. So you're the first person that knows. So don't tell nobody. No. Uh, so we have two records coming out there that I'll be able to start sharing soon and start letting people know. I also have a very, very cool thing. Michael Grimm, who is the winner of America's Got Talent, he was a massive blues singer, incredible blues singer. One thing that's going to be coming out soon, which I think I'm okay to say, is a single with him as well, with our band that's coming out. And other records, man, there's actually several this year that are going to be coming out. There's a lot. There's a lot coming out this year. I'm also the music director of the Three Oaks Worship, which is very, very cool. I'm honored to be a part of that team. And there's some really cool stuff coming out there as well. Our new record just came out just a few months ago, and now we have some other stuff coming with that you're going to want to watch for. Trust me, it's really cool.
Wow. So, was there ever an artist that stepped foot into your studio that you really just was like, wow, am I really in the presence of this person?
Yeah. You know what? Right here, sitting right here in this room, there's been several of those. One that I think that shocked me a lot was Carmen. I got to produce four records for Carmen. That was kind of a moment that I never would have expected would have happened. I got to do a remake of The Champion, Lazarus, a bunch of tunes that it was like it was a greatest hits project. And that one was kind of shocking. Also, here, actually, when we started working that Michael Omardian thing, he came here to the studio and we played down the arrangement together with him on the piano. That kind of freaked me out because the guy that played all these things that I mimicked, like I tried to play, and learn, and he's playing him now. And I'm like, holy cow, that's nuts. Another one that was pretty cool. And we've had a couple of different studios. Our old studio, one that I really enjoyed was David Phelps. That was another one that when he came to the studio and we were hanging out working, him and his brother-in-law, Jack, those were just cool moments that I still look at now, and I feel very fortunate of getting to work with people. God's really blessed me, man. I truly believe hard work is important. I know that people work really hard though and don't get opportunities that I've had. So I've worked really hard, but I truly believe that God's really blessed my family. He's blessed our business. Amazing things have happened that it's not just because I'm good, because there's a lot of people in this town that are super talented, some way far more talented than me, but God's really given me some great opportunities.
Being in the presence of Carmen to me would be like being in the presence of Bill Gaither. That would just be like, wow.
It was really nuts, man. When he started, The Flag was a song that he put out on a new record. He played it actually right here in this room on this piano and played. I'm sorry, he had an acoustic and I was on the piano, and he started thumbing through it on the acoustic, and I helped write the arrangement right there with him. We went through the whole song, and that was a really cool song. I felt so honored to be able to do something like that. And then going through all the other songs, it was nuts. On that particular song, I programmed a lot of music, played keys and stuff, but I also played drums on that record. And right here in this room, I played drums back behind me on all that stuff. And I found out the last day of tracking, I was having a problem with my stomach. And I had drank a couple of Red Bulls. I'd had two caramel macchiatos. I had like a lot of stuff because we had been working for like 4 or 5 days straight. I didn't get a lot of sleep, and I pushed through it. And I will never forget, man, we were playing this and I was playing the drums and I was hurting. I got done and found out I needed to have my appendix removed.
Wow.
Yeah, I went
Wow.
to the hospital that night because the pain started getting crazier and crazier. So when I think of Carmen, I think about having my appendix removed.
Carmen will definitely be one of those legends that will go down in Christian music history forever. You know,
Absolutely.
that's like one of the major shockers I would think of the Christian music history was when the news broke that he had passed away.
Yeah. It was a sad day, man. And I know there's been a lot of people um, in the music business that have worked with Carmen, know him. One thing that I loved about Carmen, we didn't always agree, um, but we still remained friends. And I think it's really cool in our world today. It'd be nice to have more people when you don't agree to still remain friends, because I think there's a lot of just hatred, man. And music's powerful; it can bring unity. And I know that sometimes it was bigger than us, so we created music. We were better at creating music. Sometimes people just need to shut up and create music.
So, is there any upcoming musical guests that you're looking forward to working with on Huckabee, or can you not say that yet?
I can say there's a couple. Actually, I have a list here. Let me see. There's a couple here that I can probably tell you. Let me see here. Okay, pulling up. There it is. One that's coming up soon that I think that's going to be really cool. His name. Now I'm going to give you the date of it. His name is Caleb Johnson. Now Caleb Johnson was the guy that was singing right behind Meatloaf. He was the winner of American Idol. Massive blues vocal. I mean, that dude is a beast of a singer. We just confirmed yesterday, and he is confirmed to be on the show April 30th. And his stuff is massively cool. It's blues rock. The guy's vocal is insane. I'm really looking forward to that. I know we'll get to reminisce about that concert with Meatloaf. I know we'll get to talk about it, because that was very, very cool and a moment we will never forget. So get to do some of his stuff and get to talk about it. That's going to be cool. That's April 30th. And now one of my favorites, man, is coming after that as well. We have Natalie Grant. That's going to be a
Wow.
one. She just confirmed, and that is May 7th. So back to back shows of people that they're just people I love a lot. But yeah, man, there's a lot. Casting Crowns is next week, man. We got some pretty cool artists coming on. and man, we're booked for a while here. Let me see. There's I don't know if you're familiar with the old school stuff, but let's see, we got the Newsboys and Janae Fleener's going to be on. Lane Hardy's this week. He's the country singer, and there's a lot of people I'm super excited to work with. So yes.
And you got to play with my buddy T.G. Shepherd and Kelly Lane several times, haven't you?
I have, man. We've become very good friends. They literally are some of the nicest people on the planet. I love working with them. I don't know how TG got Kelly to marry him. She's too pretty for him.
You know, I like sitting talking to TG on Zoom sometime about the Elvis stories. If you ever hear him tell some of them Elvis stories, wow.
And he's got a million of them. A lot of people didn't know that they were great friends. I mean, it's crazy. And TG is one of those guys that you will meet, and if you didn't know it was TG Shepherd and you were just talking to him, he would treat you the same as the day you found out who he was. He's that kind of guy. And getting to do music with them has been a blast, man. They're such cool people.
I'll tell you actually how I got to meet him, and it was pretty cool. I had an interview scheduled with Kelly Lane, and all of a sudden, this man walks up behind her, and I was like, right in the Zoom call, and he goes, "Hey." I said, "Well, hey, man, how are you?"
That's TG right there.
And I'm sitting here like, okay. And I went back and researched who that was, and it was T.G. Shepherd. And I was like, wow.
He's a cool dude.
And if you've ever heard his radio show now, he's got an amazing radio show. Does.
And man, everybody's on that show. He knows everybody. It's crazy. And he was calling me one night. We were talking, and he said, we were watching the show together, and Paul Schaefer said you did a good job as a music director. And I go, what? You know Paul Schaefer? He says, yeah. Would you want to meet him sometime? I'm like, yes. It's freaking Paul Schaefer. So I haven't made that happen yet. So I'm going to have to remind TG, I got to meet Paul Schaefer. That dude's a freak of nature, man.
I tell you, you know, Tre, you are a musical genius. When I think about people that are musical geniuses, I mean, John Lennon and people like that, but then there's Tre Corley, and he's his own category of musical genius. I mean, the Hall sisters, I see comments from them about you all the time. So
thank you. I really appreciate that, Andrew. That's very kind of you, sir. I am very blessed and very fortunate to get to work with the people I have. I really mean that. You know, there is some kind of chance involved, because there's a lot of people, like I said, that's just like me, man. They're Christians. They love God. They have a good work ethic. Sometimes things happen, and sometimes, you know, people move on and work with this one, that one. I've been fortunate, because I don't think God's up in heaven sitting there going, man, you know, Tre, you have to work with these people, you know, to be fulfilled, because I have fulfillment with my relationship with God. However, he's fortunate enough to let me have had some of these opportunities that I definitely will never forget, man.
Well, Tre, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I really do honor your friendship, and you are a blessing to me. And just being able to watch you on the show, I always tell my dad when Huckabee comes on, I say, hey, I know that guy.
Hey, now we can say we've done an interview together and we really know each other.
That's right. Well, man, you're welcome back on the show anytime. I'll have to tell Keith Bilbrey I've now interviewed somebody else besides him on the show.
Yeah. He's not as important, so don't worry about it.
I'll tell him you said that.
Tell him I said it.
All right, Tre. Thank you so much, buddy.
Yes, sir. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.